Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you! Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. I'm your host, David Strege, and here is another episode of What's in My Room. And this is where I go on and talk about some of the things I've collected over time. And in the past 2 months, I've kind of let a few things get out of hand with not showing my collection. So I figured I'd start out by showing you 2 films that came Thursday. And I apologize that they're not in their packages or whatnot. I already opened them. I think it's actually kind of a gay thing to keep them in the package and just wait to show you when I can just be like, well, bam. So the first one that I have here is called Moons of the Blood Beast. It's SC Entertainment presents. Mature audiences only, and it's directed by Dustin Ferguson, but it was sent to me by the producer, Joe Williamson. So I'm going to check that out, get a review out for it. Let me just read a little bit of the title. A small coastal town is terrorized by the Blood Beast, a mythical creature said to return every 10 years during the cycle of the harvest moon, to claim sacrifices in exchange for protecting the secluded community from the outside world. Featuring AVN Award winner Elena Evans and Alan Maxson of Godzilla King of the Monsters as the Blood Beast. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to check that out eventually this weekend. Next, I have an anthology called Tales for the Campfire 3. I wonder if there were some Tales from the Campfire 1 and 2 out there, but here I'm going to read the back here for you real quick. Gather around the fire one last time for 5 all-new Tales of Terror, containing the stories We Won, Coal Canyon Creeps, The Prisoner, The Bitter Half, and The Gateway. It features famous locations seen in Child's Play 2, Halloween 3, House, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. This film is written, edited, and directed by Dark Infinity, whoever that is, but it is produced by the one and only Joe Williamson. So thank you, Joe, for sending these to me. I'm glad that they are physical copies because I can show them off in my collection videos. Anyways, so next on order is what came Wednesday, and it was supposed to be here Thursday, so it came a day early, but a week late. Damn Amazon for making it seem like it was going to come out August 18th to me. When a week later, I get it. Slow asses, lazy, and uncalled for. But in any case, I got the Gamera Complete Collection. It's got 12 movies on it. Now, Mill Creek actually put out an 11-movie set without the Brave. So technically, if you really wanted the collection without the Brave, that set is a phenomenal set as well. But I decided that I wanted, especially since turtles are my thing, I wanted the Gamera set. I'm not sure that it was entirely worth the $140 that I put into it at the end of the day, but I was going to get it anyways. I actually ended up having to borrow from my fiance, and she was very nice about letting me borrow from her, and I'm still paying her off to this day. So I guess this is how they have the discs. It's kind of funky. And obviously, if you don't take care of it properly, you can get the disc scratched if you have it this way. But it's some very cool artwork work going on there, and I guess there's some cards, postcard-like things in the end of that there. And one of the secret things that I guess I heard about was this this map here. It's got the first side is in English. It's kind of like a timeline of the Gamera films. Gamera's map of Japan from 1965 to 2006, and then on the other side it's in Japanese. Pretty much the same darn thing. So that's kind of cool if you wanted to have that kind of thing. To go as a timeline. There's a thinner book in here that pretty much is a novelization of the history of Gamera, but the thicker book is what kind of surprised me. It's a combination of all the different comic books that came out. And I've had the ability to read the first one called The Last Hope, which was by Matt Frank. And evidently it was called The Last Hope. And it talked about a civilization that got hung up on mana, and kind of an origin story. And evidently, this particular comic pretty much states that there were tons of guardians, in fact, that were created to combat the evil and the shadows that seemed to prevail their civilization for their greed, and eventually the guardians were not able to entirely protect them, and their basic civilization was destroyed. But it is some phenomenal artwork, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I'm just going to show you this historical book here if I can. I'm going to try to get the thin book out. I'm starting to read it a little bit, but it goes from each film book. It's got some cool artwork on either side, kind of comic book type. But that looks like the snake that was actually from the failed Gamera film. Apparently they... Oh, and supposedly, supposedly the project that was before Gamera with the Eye Studios, that was supposed to be like a gigantic monster. That was a rat monster, and apparently on the set were found lice and roaches. So, but as you can see, there's definitely a lot there to go through. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface on it, but I have delved into it a little bit. I'd love to check out some of the special features on that, and Arrow does some phenomenal special features from what I understand. And this is the same size as the Herschel Gordon Lewis cereal box, which I don't know if you could see it back there, but I have it way back there. So this will probably go up there with that set and so on and so forth. So that was probably the most that I had ever spent on anything any given take, except for the Herschel Gordon Lewis box set, which I bought for roughly about 300. So anyways, then I ended up buying some films from a buddy of mine who just so happens to be a reviewer himself, and he had a couple of Vinegar Syndrome titles. He had Justine, from the cravings of a young girl's dreams to the maturing of a woman's passion. This was directed by Roberta Findlay and stars Hilary Summers and Vanessa Del Rio, which I know the actress Vanessa Del Rio. These are considered adult films, but he also had a double feature of Hard Soap, and Disco Lady, which these are also adult films from Vinegar Syndrome. They were both evidently directed by Bob Chin. So these are newly mastered. Apparently, maybe... Okay, so... Yeah. So I'm definitely going to be checking these out eventually. Then, hold on. Give me one moment. I have not watched these yet, but this is a series of short films shot in isolation. It was put together by Matt Shaw, who was also a well-known UK author. And evidently these were all short films that were shot in the very beginning of the pandemic. And it's called Lockdown, Do Not Let Isolation Kill Creativity. And supposedly it's got on here the short films Alone, Pain, Divorce, Empty Shelves, Counseling, Together, and Debt. The following films we shot during the 2020 lockdown. Matt Shaw wrote the scripts and then emailed them to the actors all around the world. Using their camera phones, they filmed themselves acting out the parts. These clips were then sent back to Matt Shaw, who edited them all together. Not only did this keep the creativity flowing, but it also stopped those involved from being too bored whilst they were locked in. So, all content on here is available on YouTube for free. It has been collected here for those who like to collect physical versions. So, that came with. I had actually put money in to fund this film, Next Door, which is from the twisted, acclaimed. Do you really know who lives next door? And it's called Next Door, and says every house is home to secrets, and it's put out by Purgatory Pictures. As you can see, it is factory made, and it is signed on the inside. But stars Jamie Lomas, Jeremy. Let's see, Vaz Blackwood, Jan Anderson, Jamie Lomas, Jeremy Edwards, Justin Haywood, Laura Wilson, Nathan Sussex, with music by Brian Allen Delaney, Vidin Hansi Vidanovic, Roland McIntosh, Henry Thompson. So, definitely cool. And this is actually a Kickstarter exclusive edition of his first film, Monster, which was actually a book first. evidently of the same name, and it tells the harrowing story of Richard, Mary, and Andrew, a family of three. On the outside, Mary and Richard appear normal, and their son, a deformed hulk of a 7-foot monster, rarely seen. Look closer, though, and see the true monsters as controlling Richard bullies his family into living the life he wants. So here I have Monster, and definitely going to be checking those out eventually. Those are on my to-do list. Then I also have the MILFs vs. Zombies, the director's cut. And it's basically a group of mothers that kick some ass. So, love that cover, Brad. Thank you so much for letting me buy a copy. I'm so thrilled. Anyways, next I have from the same friend who had the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I have Eddie Macon's Run on Blu-ray. Never seen this film, but it looks pretty cool with Kirk Douglas and John Schneider. Next I have a couple of Mondo Macabre limited editions. First I have The Killer of Dolls on Blu-ray. And it is a limited edition of 124 out of 800 made. It is directed by Michael Scalf. In this bizarre and totally unique piece of Spanish horror cinema, David Roca plays Paul, a young man thrown out of medical school due to his inability to deal with the sight of blood. He goes home to Montpellier in France, where his father is gardener on a huge estate belonging to Countess Olivia, played by Helga Lynn, ageless diva of Spanish horror. We soon discover that the fear of blood is not Paul's only quirk. He was raised as a girl after his sister died and also likes to play with dolls and perform strange operations on them, attempting to extract their hearts. Meanwhile, in the park surrounding the Countess's home, a number of young girls have been found murdered. The killer seems to be a mysterious individual wearing a black wig, a white doll mask, and speaking with a woman's voice. As the killings multiply around him, Paul sinks ever deeper into a world of hallucination and nightmare. So, evidently, this is a 4K transfer of this film, so definitely going to check that out eventually. Next, I have Woman Chasing the Butterfly of Death. And this is a film by Kim Kai-young. And it is filmed in South Korea in 1978. Like a kind of crazy cinematic ghost train ride, Butterfly of Death takes us on a journey deep into the darkness of one man's fears and fantasies. This man is Young Go, a lonely and rather morbid student in late 1970s South Korea. Narrowly surviving a murder-suicide attempt by a woman wearing a butterfly pendant, he next finds himself besieged by a seemingly insane bookseller who claims he can never die. Even after Young Go burns the man's body, his skeleton comes back to taunt him. As if that weren't enough, the poor student then finds himself the victim of a beautiful 2,000-year-old woman. She looks about 25, who says she is hungry and wants to eat his liver. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a limited edition numbered 115 out of 800. I don't know if you can see that. Made. So there we go. That was another Mondo Macabre Blu-ray. Next, I have the last and latest anthology by Faux Pas Films. Faux Pas Films director is Michael Wade Johnson. It's a 134-minute film. and it also has the film Sparing on it as a bonus feature. It says on here an anthology feature film with webs of evil land, murder sorts, femme on the hunt, dark psychos, and cop kill intertwine intertwine with blood and death to form a dark hemactic web. So there we have it. That I put 25 in. Got that. Next, I have a couple of short films by Peter Baestorff that were put out by Jan Chaos's SOV company. This has a number 17 out of 30 made. And the two Brazilian shorts is Zombio and 290 Venenos. And unfortunately, Zombio, when it was put out by Bulgaria Productions, it came with English subtitles. But unfortunately, they were made in a way where even if you tried to copy them, it would not be transferable, the English language from the Zombio's film. So in him trying to get his stuff out there, somebody forgot to make proper English subtitles along the way. So unfortunately, we only get it in its Brazilian language. Pardon me. I'm excited to show you these things. And I haven't taken a breather. So give me a moment. So next I have also from Jan Chaos's distribution company, SOV. This is number 3 out of 30. This is Agonia, the director's cut. And it's an extreme, brutal, and gory rape and revenge short film. It is directed by Philip Lillian Schwartz. And I guess this is a lone release. Lisa is kidnapped by men in the street in broad daylight and is kept on a chain as a plaything for their sadistic sexual desires. After much suffering, a supernatural event turns the tables in her favor, giving her the opportunity to take revenge. Meanwhile, Lisa's tough girlfriend, Andrea, is searching for the missing girl and gets dragged into a storm of cruelty and violence. So there we have it, Agonia. And if you can see some of the pictures on the back, there we go. Next, this one is on the trail end of being a basically gore porn. This one's called Destroying My Slave. Extreme violence porn and necro snuff. For the master, having a slave was great. She would come over once a week, long enough to heal her wounds, and he would beat the shit out of her for an hour. Then he would go back home to loving his wife. Aggression gone, and things would be copacetic. Tonight started like any other session. She arrives in the prerequisite trench coat, nude underneath, cuffed, and her nipples clamped. As usual, things start out with the verbal. After all, she was a slave and not a person. She was filth, worthless, because she even agreed to this. This was fucked up, and he knew that. He would wear her out, whip her, etc., until the hour was up. Then she would go home to be with her cats and community college homework, and he his needy wife. But the phone rang. It was his wife. Seems that his fucking slave had feelings for him, and told her. Fuck. He was pissed off. He ran out of the room in a fury. She was suspended, crying, waiting for him to return. This movie may contain sexual scenes and violence. In some cases, the scenes are sexually explicit and the violence extreme. This movie is intended for adult entertainment. This movie is not yet rated. However, you must be 18 to view this movie. In some cases, you must be 21. You must know the laws of your region. So, here we have Destroying My Slave. Interesting enough, I think that's a bootleg. If not, it's a very independent film. So, next I have the 9th Gore Short Films Anthology put out by Jan Chaos. This is a Gore Films film series of short films that he takes as and what he thinks is extreme gore, and puts them into an anthology-like form. So here we have, we have Sleepy Bear's Lullaby from Finland. We have White Gardenia, a perfume made from blood and tears, uncut from the USA. We have Halloween Horror from the USA. We have Clea from the USA. We have Teratomorph from the USA. We have a Corque do Espaco from Brazil. And we have Dismembered from Belgium. And we have Necro Slaughtered Girl from France. And this is number 31 out of 50 made. So, once again, we have a cover of his real love. I can see that it's her in the background. Next, I ended up getting the producer's cut of Meat Hook Massacre 4 just recently, and I have not watched it as of yet, but it's supposed to be gory. And it was written and directed by John Ward. Now, supposedly, there was something going on between the director and the producer, because from what I understand, Meat Hook Massacre 4 is going to be put on a double feature with Meat Hook Massacre 5, and there is a final Meat Hook Massacre that is supposedly out there as well. I had put, I believe I put 70 in to get the first 3 in the Massacre series of films, and for a while I wasn't sure if I was going to get this copy, but evidently this is the cut that Sokol Cinema Massacre and Dark Park Films presented. So I guess this is a cut of the film, and it's the cut that I got. So in any case, gonna check that out eventually. Next, finally, after a year, I put roughly about 300 into this film, because I believed in this young man. This is his first film. He's from Hungary. It is Benjamin Helmetzi's first short film called Vulps, Prologue. Now, I told him to call it The Beginning, but he wanted to call it this ancient text here, prologue. But I guess it works. But I'm so glad to have my name on the film. It did turn out to be a pretty damn good short film, and he's gearing up to do another short film pretty quickly here. And let me just tell you, it's a horror film against animal abuse. I've never heard anything like that before. There's kind of a vigilante going around like V for Vendetta, kind of. And I like it. I mean, it's got kind of a soft feel to it, and I'm looking forward to where he can take this. So definitely intrigued and trying to find out what more. And last but not least, for $20, my fiance found the Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece in velvet. I mean, this is so much better than that Blu-ray crap that's out there of the same thing. I mean, I love this red velvet set. I mean, yeah, I've got to dust it off every so often, but it's got it's got the birds, Marnie, torn curtain, Topaz, The Trouble with Harry, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, Psycho, Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, Rear Window, Frenzy, Family Plot, and who knows what else on this set. I mean, this is just beautiful. I mean, I went through all of these just recently, and it was phenomenal. So I think that's all I'm going to talk about in this particular video. I've got more to show, but I think showing you these ones was an accomplishment, and hopefully you enjoyed what I could show you. So I'm just so glad to share my collection with you as I get it picked up and whatnot. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. I appreciate you checking out the stuff that I have in my room. Enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?